Graham picked out all the ones for the Kidbrooke Street.
Okay.
So,
Apart from those.
which ones?
It's early on a Sunday morning and these Conservative Party faithful are ready to roll.
We'll start wherever you think.
David Gold is the Tory candidate here in the constituency of Eltham.
Well, it depends how we do, how long we do the results.
Current polling tips him to win this seat from the sitting Labour MP.
We lost it in 1997 on the tidal wave of support for Labour, and I think that right now people are switching back now to the Conservatives. It's time for a change, and that's a slogan that's been used time and time again, but this time it's really resonating with people. They're really saying we need a change of face, we need a change of direction, and we need a change of mood, really.
Over the past 5 years, the Tory party has taken a new direction. Under the leadership of David Cameron, the Conservatives have tried to reinvent themselves.
Thank you. Thank you for coming together today. Let me tell you what I think this election is all about. There is today a modern Conservative alternative that has got the leadership, that's got the energy, that's got the values to get this country moving.
Tim Montgomery is a Conservative commentator and pollster.
Politicians have been taking the public for mugs for far too long.
David Cameron is actually pursuing, I think, an incredibly interesting attempt to redefine conservatism in the post-Thatcher, Reagan, Howard era. We knew exactly where conservatism was when those three great giants of international conservatism were on the political stage, but where is it now? And what David Cameron is trying to do is saying it isn't enough just for conservatism to be about crime and tax and immigration and national security. It has to be more.
And then we can do the thing that's probably the way to do it.
Okay, great, thank you.
Cameron's new look is about to be judged by the UK public.
Good.
We're going this way.
Okay, let's go.
We're up here. Right, we're
And after 13 years of Labour government, they are desperate to win.
But, you know, it's not just about the leaders anymore, which is good. It's also about, you know, the individuals. We sort of have a countdown clock on the website to remind us how many minutes we've got to go, how many hours, how many days. But all I know is that we've got to win this time. There we go.
They want this new sort of happy, clappy land where everybody does their bit and it's all very jolly and it's all very cuddly and very progressive and very green, not really traditionally Tory at all.
Guardian political journalist Julian Glover has been following the Conservatives' transformation.
Well, they're very tolerant on social issues, they're quite tolerant on gay rights, on race, and so they were embarrassed by what the party was. They felt it needed to change because they believed in it. But the other reason was polling. They tested with the public after the 2005 election. They tested with the public, what do you think of the Tory party? And people just hated it. They quite liked Tory policies when they were told what the policies were if they didn't know the party. As soon as they found out the party, they became opposed to the policies.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Yeah, okay.
Good to see you. There we are.
You've been round with him once.
You've had this already?
I've had something, yeah, something like that.
We're obviously bombarding you with literature.
Yeah, well, I've already got it once. Yeah.
You've got this one, have you?
Or is it Labour's that?
You've probably had Labour's, I would imagine.
In many ways, David Gold appears like a typical Tory.
I hope Tory comes in, do very well.
Well, thank you.
I wish you all the best.
With your support, we will, sir.
I hope so.
Thank you very much.
See you again.
All the very best to you both. Take care.
Take care.
He was privately educated, has a
Okay,
background
this
in
is where
law,
she thinks she's
and
thinking
worked
of
for the
it.
former Conservative Party leader, William Hague. But David was also the first Tory to stand as an openly gay candidate.
I mean, the difference has been that in the past, Tory MPs might get elected and then it would emerge that they happened to be gay, and so it was seen as something of a sort of dirty secret and a bit of a scandal. I was very upfront about it.
So you're doing the letters, aren't you? All the letters are handed out. Lisa and Charlotte are doing that. Right, let's go.
David's key helper out on the campaign trail is Mark, his long-term partner.
Well, I mean, David and I have been together about 10, 11 years now, and we, you know, in the whole 10, 11 years that we've been doing it, I don't think it's ever attracted anything other than, oh, okay, you know, it doesn't seem to be an issue, which, if I'm honest with you, surprises me a little bit sometimes.
If the Tories win a majority at this election, they will have more than 16 openly gay MPs.
So, have you been out delivering this morning?
Yes.
Yes? Where have you been delivering? Do you remember?
No, Ashford.
Oh, have you? I'm going to get done for child labour. Nice.
After a busy morning door knocking, David Gold joins his supporters at the local Conservative club.
As you saw yesterday, we had 20 people out delivering. We've got posters up in some areas. We get a lot of thumbs up and people bibbing the horns. And I think a lot of people really are very much behind.
And I think that it comes to something when an openly gay man who is in a civil partnership with his male partner can stand for Parliament in a marginal winnable seat in southeast London, in a working class area, and not have any sort of prejudice against them at all. So I think that not only has the party changed, I think the country's changed.
I mean, people like to say that it's only rich people who vote Tory, but that's not true.
Immigrant and single mother of two, Loanna Morrison, is another of David Cameron's new-look Tory candidates.
So, see here. I'm Loanna Morrison, your Conservative parliamentary candidate.
Just a few miles away from David Gold, but in a very different constituency. This is Bermondsey and Old Southwark. A safe Liberal Democrat seat, Loanna Morrison faces an uphill battle to gain Conservative votes in this area.
I don't like it. These Conservatives, they're not good.
But I'm a Conservative. You think I'm no good?
Yeah, but you're good looking there, but what? Labour. So what's David Cameron going to do for us? What's he going to do?
Most people do presume, because I'm black, that I must be a Labour. But I've never been a socialist. I think I was born with a Conservative spoon in my mouth. Good afternoon. I'm your Conservative parliamentary candidate.
Who's Conservatives again? That's
David Cameron.
David Cameron, that's
the
one.
Yes. I don't see what the Labour government has done for black people, and I think they need to question their commitment to the Labour Party, really. And I'm hoping that my presence in this campaign will kind of wake people up, especially black people, wake them up and say, listen, we need to see what these people's policies are. Don't just go out and vote blindly. If the Conservatives come in, you'll get a chance to make money, you'll get a chance to, to fulfill your ambitions, you'll get a chance to aspire. Because we'll open up everything. We'll allow people to sort of go back to learning, go back to training. There'll be training opportunities which you don't have to pay for. I mean, the Labour Party can't take you any further than where they've taken you. Look. They've been in power for 13 years and black people are still poor. So let's try a change.
I don't think the Conservatives can change that, to be honest. I think we need an act of God.
Tonight, Loanna is launching a job opportunity program for young people in her area.
You get credits for the other cards. All the members of the gold card and the platinum card will have their details circulated to businesses, which will give you a fast track into jobs and into interviews.
The Conservative Shadow Home Secretary, Chris Grayling, has come along to show his support.
This is a great city. There are lots of really good opportunities out there. And I'm absolutely confident that you can use this job club to make a really great next step in your life.
Questions have been raised over the commitment of high-level Tories like Chris Grayling to Cameron's new philosophy. 2 weeks ago, Grayling made a comment that put the party's stand on gay rights under scrutiny.
Be a network, support each other, give each other ideas. If you go and have an interview that goes...
One of the things he said was that people who own a bed and breakfast, a private couple who have a house, shouldn't be compelled to take gay clients or a gay couple if they want into their private home. Now, that obviously, I think in British law, is probably illegal now. Of course, it was an incredibly stupid thing to say just before an election, and stupid to say in the age of the internet when somebody was filming it on a camera phone.
Will it topple over? No?
The Tories' other big change was to try and position themselves as a Green party.
Sorry, what did you just say?
Here comes the Green Tory.
But this green tinge may split the new Tory party, the way it did the Liberals in Australia.
Malcolm Turnbull and David Cameron are probably similar characters in a way. David Cameron has made a big deal of being a green Conservative party that focuses on climate change. Actually, when we asked Conservative candidates what their priorities was, climate change was right at the bottom of the league table of their priorities. So should there be a Conservative government, there is potentially a conflict there on that issue.
I'm Alastair Stewart, and for the first time on British...
It became evident that the new Conservatives might not be the change the British people are looking for, when, for the first time ever, the UK held a live television leaders' debate. Nick Clegg, the leader of Britain's third largest party, the Liberal Democrats, was widely agreed to have outperformed both Gordon Brown and David Cameron.
Now, you're going to be told tonight by these two that the only choice you can make is between two old parties who've been running things for years. I'm here to persuade you that there is an alternative. I think it's great we're having these debates.
Overnight, the Conservatives lost their lead in the polls, and the race has suddenly been thrown wide open, prompting speculation of a hung parliament.
No one predicted these headlines, and no one knows how long the Nick Clegg effect might last.
A year ago, they were going to be the clear winner to the election. Everybody looked at David Cameron, they said, you're the next Prime Minister, you're modern, you've changed your party, Britain loves you, we'll just sit out the dying Labour government. And now everything's changed. We've had Nick Clegg come into the contest, suddenly the Lib Dems, the third party, have become the first party in some opinion polls. Nobody predicted that.
It's so easy for Clegg to get up there and promise the earth, the moon, the stars, and that, because he's never going to have to deliver it.
The Liberal Democrats' sudden surge in the polls is causing a stir among these Conservative voters.
The Labour will lose more seats to the Lib Dem than we will.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. I think that ultimately people do want change, but I don't think they want the sort of change that results in weak government. I don't think people in this country are looking for a hung parliament. It's a small little fling with the Liberal Democrats. It's not a long-term love affair.
Good morning, sir. Do you live in Southwark? I do. Hope you might support me in the election. Thank you very much.
The sitting member that Loanna Morrison is challenging is Liberal Democrat Simon Hughes.
Good morning, sir. Do you live in Southwark? You live in Southwark, sir?
He's confident his party will record a historic high vote and possibly even help form government.
The polls at the moment are showing us ahead of that. And people have always said, the polls have always said that if people thought we had the chance of being in government, then our vote would soar. It's because of the electoral system. It's always been very difficult to transfer our support into seats. But we may this time be making the breakthrough.
Hughes scoffs at the notion that Cameron's Tories represent change and says the new polls are evidence they haven't fooled anyone.
I think that people realise, if they think about it, that we've had red, blue, blue, red, Conservative, Labour, Labour, Conservatives for 65 years, and it hasn't been a huge success. Whether we get 30% or 25% or 35% or 40%, there is no limit to our ambition. And I say to people very confidently, if you really want a real change, not just the old order, now is the time to seize it.
All right. I think that should be enough now, surely.
If the Conservatives fail to win this election, it will be their fourth consecutive loss, and there will be massive soul-searching within the party.
And to lose an election at a time when we'll probably have one of the most unpopular governments in British history. Gordon Brown has doubled the national debt. He sent our troops to war without proper equipment. He failed to regulate the banks properly, and we've had this major financial collapse. So people will ask, if the Conservative Party cannot win in this situation, when can they win?
David Gold is confident the Conservatives have changed for the good, and whatever happens at this election, he says there is no turning back.
I certainly think that after the previous election defeats, where we concentrated on issues of the politics of old, and where we failed so spectacularly to gain ground, that there's no going back now. I think that we are now firmly in the right direction, and I don't believe that looking backwards is the answer at all.